Tony Angelo have plenty of practice time and access to resources, so that's always a good thing to see. But first we're going to see Ken Gushi leading. Ryan Tuerck's going to be following. Gushi having a good line up on the bank.
That's how you follow, though. The proximity that Ryan has right there
in the middle of the bank
is what we should be seeing in these top 16 rounds, all of them.
Definitely. You're seeing Ryan trying to close that gap through the power alley. Gushi opening up the gap a little bit, but Tuerck closing it again. Again, this is the final four, so these guys have already won 3 tandem battles coming into this. This is the best of the best in Seattle. We're going to be looking at a replay real quick. Again, Steph, give us a kind of your insight. What stands out? Let's say that you're a Gushi spotter. What are you telling him right here?
Oh, I'm not going to be talking to him while they're running, but after, you know, I think that Ryan definitely, it might be a 50-50. You know, the Gushi definitely had a decent lead run. He wasn't all the way out to the yellow line where they want the lead car, and Ryan stayed relatively close. So I think it can go either way. Gushi on his follow needs to stay close and needs to have that proximity the entire run. Better than what Ryan had on that, or I don't think he's going to get the win.
So we'll switch these cameras around, get everything rearranged for the FD TV show. Tune in on NBC Sports right after the Olympics in August. Formula D TV should be pretty exciting, but glad to have everybody here on the Drift Stream. We're in the Final Four. This matchup sponsored by Hankook Tires, the same tires on Ken Gushi's Scion FRS, up against Ryan Tuerck, who's going to be leading on the Maxxis Tire Retax S13.
So that might be, that's hard to recover from, that gap that Ken left on the table there.
A big gap going into the bank, and Tuerck is keeping the gap through most of the course here. We're not seeing a big proximity that they want to see till this final corner from Gushi. I think Gushi is definitely not going to win any extra points for that run, but also didn't make any major mistakes in following, so depending on how the judges look at that.
Yeah, if it were me, if I was a judge at this point, I would definitely go towards Ryan on that. He had a very close. He was in proximity of Gush for pretty much the whole tandem run. And if you look at Ryan's lead run here, he's on the preferred line, almost out to the yellow. Not any worse than Ken's.
Yep.
And Ken just can't seem to close the gap. He just doesn't have the speed. You know, I wouldn't say he doesn't have the speed. I think he left too much on the table in that first turn.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of people don't. That's something to really see here in the drifting is if you leave that gap open at the beginning of the track, unless you have an extremely quick car, which when they're in the top 4 like this, you're probably not going to be much quicker than anybody else. So you can't let anybody have even a car length at the start of the track.
So we're going to wait for the judges to make a decision. Trying to peek into the judges' room and see what's going on. Again, we're talking up here with Steph Papadakis, who's gone through a couple different cars over the years. Started with a 240 yourself,
yep.
Then an S2000, and then you shifted over to focus on the 350Z with Tanner for a couple years, onto Frederick Osbo's TC.
Yeah, so we actually
Rockstar TC first.
Yeah, a lot of years. You know, Tanner with the 350Z. I was still drifting my S2000. We ended up working out a great deal with Scion and switched to a TC1 that we ran the V8 TRD engine
right.
TC1 with
the
Tanner.
NASCAR motor.
Ran very successfully.
So it looks like a decision's come in. We're going to go one more time. Oh, man.
Interesting. Well, you know, it's going to be another good matchup. Neither of those guys made